Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss the issues with moonshine and if it can be fixed. My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Lori Mangum, Lenny Eckstein, and Danny Kennard.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey.
Hello. So we are going to have a fun show today because I love moonshine. I know Danny loves moonshine too. I don't know about everybody else, but I know for sure the two of us do. Yeah. So it'll be fun, and I'd love to see it fixed. I would love to see a definition from the TTB and defining what it is, and people being able to make a real moonshine like Royce does, and like Pappy G's making now with Royce, stuff like that. But we'll talk about the problems with it, and people may be like, I love moonshine too. I'm a big old smoky guy or whatever.
That's crap.
Yeah, that is. But we'll talk about all that after the break. For right now, Lenny said there's something he wanted to talk about. What is that, Lenny?
So I've been on the road a lot, and whether it's out of state, out of country, around Colorado, I suspect you guys have this too, but the whole Sprinter van life thing.
Yeah.
Is that all over the place everywhere? Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So I've got mild envy of that because I do love living out of a vehicle, whether it's a motorcycle or, I've got a truck with a camper that's kind of shoved on the bed. But, here's my question to you. Could you guys live out of a van, not necessarily for the rest of your life, but let's say 3 to 6 months, maybe 12 months. And if so, what amenities, for lack of a better term, would you not be able to do without if it was set up for you?
Well, that's a good question. I love the idea, and I like the idea of being a minimalist. I don't live with a person who wants to be a minimalist, so there's that conflict there.
Is this the guy with fucking thousands of bottles that are everywhere strewn around his house?
Yeah, but I could get rid of them. I could get rid of them. Yeah, I would love to be. I'd love to be in a situation where I didn't have that. It's like moonshine. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to fix this either. But it's what it is.
Sell them all.
I have an answer for this.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Well, I was answering, but go ahead.
You go ahead. But,
no, go ahead.
I've got an answer for it afterwards.
All right. No, let's hear yours.
Okay.
It sounded like breaking news, so let's see what we got.
Yes. So basically,
this is Sprinter van. It's not what you've got right now. He's asking Sprinter van. You can't be like okay. I go out in my camper. This is different, Danny. It's the van. So you got to answer like that.
I could do a Sprinter van, yes. It would be a lot smaller than what I have now.
Right. That's the point, though.
But the thing is I still have home base.
Right.
So...
Yeah, he's not talking about living there the rest of your life. Like a 6-month trip, though. Like, say, all over the U.S., 6 months. Could you do?
But then my thing is I'm looking at it as my camper dream of in the next 8 years is whether I have a big fifth wheel, I have a pull behind, or I have a Sprinter van. It doesn't matter. I still have home base. I can go and my rule of when I buy, not when she buys. So when I buy, it's the rule of 2.
Right.
So I've got the bottle that I'm drinking now, and then I've got the bottle that I'm going to save for retirement because I cannot afford that when I do that.
Right.
But anyway, just to say, let's say I did end up in the Sprinter van, not a problem because I could turn around and go to where I was, pack up my alcohol, and then after I'm starting to run low, well, then I got to make another stop by the homestead.
Right.
And then after that, then it's just a turn of the wheel, and I keep just going.
Just keep going. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you can get back by your home base, you could do the Sprinter van. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, Sprinter van, I could do that too. I would like that. A nice 6 month trip. I would love to just take my time and go around the USA. It actually sounds pretty fun to me. Again, not want to live there the rest of my life, but a 6 month trip where you really dedicated yourself to it, I think it would be pretty awesome. And yes, it'd be fine. I can live with whatever I can fit in that van for the 6 months, and it'll be good. And I can buy bottles along the way or whatever it is. So yes, I'd be fine. And it sounds awesome to me. How about you, Lori?
Yeah, I would love to do it. The one amenity that I feel like is a non-negotiable, I'm actually house hunting right now, and this is like the non-negotiable in the house hunting, is to have like a really great bathtub. But that's just not going to happen in a Sprinter van.
Sprinter van,
I have
no.
to just release that and choose the bed over the bathtub.
My non-negotiable would be I just have to have internet. As long as I got internet, that would be the only thing I need. And that's easy. That can work in a Sprinter van. Not a big deal. You just get a hotspot, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Whether you're doing a Sprinter van or camper or anything else, you're not going to have a great bathtub.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
But
I just have to release it.
I don't use. Again, I am an experienced camper. I don't come around and use my camper as a camper. I use it as basically a rolling hotel room.
Whoa.
We go there, we sit up, and then we're gone. As soon as it's hooked up, we disconnect and we're out running around.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hotel Canard. All right.
Yeah.
Miss Beka Sue, could you and Royce? So Sprinter comes to you and says, "We like what you guys are doing. Here's the deal. You would be good for our brand. We'll send you on a 6 month trip. It's around the U.S. You and Royce have to stay in the Sprinter van. You can't cheat and go in a hotel or anything. You got to be in this thing for 6 months. But at the end of 6 months, you get to keep the Sprinter van if you make it the whole time. If you cancel it out early, I'm sorry, it goes back to us.
No, I would stay in it.
Does she have to take rolls?
Fucking not. Are you fucking kidding me? There is no goddamn chance. I lived with him in a camper for a little while, and it wasn't even small. But
what about by yourself?
It sucks. I lived in a fucking camper with one of my ex-boyfriends. It fucking sucked. It fucking sucks. Okay? It fucking sucks. I'm gonna say that. Danny, shut up, Danny. I'm not gonna listen to this. It fucking sucks. There's no room for anything. You start turning weird spots into different things. It's the fucking worst. And Steve, you couldn't do it either. And I know you couldn't do it either. You could not do it. No, there's no fucking way that Steve could do it either.
No.
Steve is way more prissy than he leads on to be. He does not want to live in a fucking Sprinter van for one. Steve, nice. You are too tall for a Sprinter van.
This is true.
So crazy. We're not even talking about a camper. We're talking about a Sprinter van. Steve, you couldn't lay down fully.
The Sprinter vans today are taller.
They're fucking taller. Well, Steve is 6'4".
Well, no shit. So
they're
I'm
not
6'1".
exactly fantastic for Mr. Akeley to be bumping around in.
You won't let me have my dream, Beka. I can't have my dream of being
5 foot tall and 100 pounds. It is
Lenny,
not actually going to be fun to live in a Sprinter van. We're not talking about a camper. A Sprinter van. I just watched
I'm pretty close to a Sprinter van myself.
Danny, I am not even going to listen to this shit. Okay? It is not fun The Sprinter van is not fun. Not having an actual bathroom, guess what? I'm not going to do this whole like, well, no, it's kind of cool. I can shit and shower at the exact same time because they're in the exact same closet. And oh, by the way, the closet is exactly 2 feet wide. Oh, and by the way, my sink is in there as well. So I can brush my teeth, wash my ass, and wash my hair all at once while putting on my makeup because the fucking mirror's in there as well.
You don't turn around and shit in the bathroom. That's the thing. You turn around and go to the public bathroom.
Fuck off. That is the worst thing ever. The tiny bathroom. Like I said, I lived in a fucking camper and it was a big, nice camper.
Danny, is that your policy in your camper?
I've got 5 minutes to shower. I have 5 minutes to shower, to shave my legs and wash my hair.
Why?
Because then he runs out.
Because the heat runs out.
You didn't have a very good
this was fucking 10 years ago, Danny.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was
You're giving me things
I had
to
to unclog the shitter one time in that camper.
And I had to unclog the shitter with a fucking shop vac. Okay, I'm
That's
not
the thing.
living.
You don't shit in the camper, and you have to have.
Danny, when you're in a camper, you don't know where the fuck you're gonna be at necessarily.
Yes, you do.
No, you
because
don't. You're going to be in the middle of fucking nowhere sometimes, and I'm not going to shit on the ground outside in a hole.
What if you're dry docked?
Very intense.
Yeah.
I'm not shitting in a hole outside. Yeah. Danny,
do you shit in a hole when you're dry docked somewhere that's away from like a campground? I know there's bathroom facilities, but if you're not in a campground, like you're...
I've never stayed... I've never did the docking thing. I have not done that.
So you've only been places that have a nice fucking bathroom.
Yes.
Exactly my point.
Yeah.
Nice bathrooms, nice showers, nice hookups. I mean,
must be nice to be Danny Kennard.
Oh yes.
Look at all these fucking fancy campgrounds he stays at.
Yeah.
It must be fucking nice.
Well,
guess what? If you're going across the United States, you're not staying at great campgrounds all the time. And you're not going to be, you're going to have to use the shitter in your actual camper.
Nope.
You have to use a shower in the camper because you do not have other things to use.
Well, I do use my own shower. I will say that. But no, I don't shit in the camper. But one of the
Danny is proving my point of like Danny's not driving across a goddamn country.
Right.
Lenny, look what you started.
I took a trip down to Gulf Shores, Alabama. Okay. And then I stayed at a campground there in what was it?
Gulf Shores.
It was halfway point between here and Gulf Shores.
Somewhere in Mississippi, I guess.
There's nothing good down
Jackson,
there.
Mississippi. It's halfway. No. Jackson, Mississippi's halfway between here and Gulf Shores. Check my map. I'm right.
Where's the Ritz-Carlton of parking?
Where is the Space Museum?
That's in Huntsville, Alabama.
Huntsville.
Yeah. Huntsville, Alabama, Danny.
Okay. That's where I stayed at, and it was $18 a night for a full hookup. That was the best.
Whoa! How did she look? Was she hot?
Full hookup. $18.
$18. Hey now. Wow. Sounds like it's no wonder Danny liked that.
Danny, you telling me that you don't use the amenities in your camper just proves my point even further that you're not living in your camper.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't. I like I said, it's a rolling hotel room. I mean, I go there.
Shit in your hotel room?
No.
You don't shit in a hotel room? You just keep it bottled up for the entire time you're gone?
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
That's very bad for you.
All right. Lenny, you asked the question.
Lenny could absolutely live in it. Remember, we said 5 foot tall, 100 pounds.
Requirements, no issue.
Lenny didn't know what he was getting into, but that's
all right.
I didn't. I mean, I thought you guys were going to be like, yeah, sure. I mean, maybe for a month, though. And for amenities, I thought you were going to be like, espresso machine or sleep number bed. I didn't think it was going to go in that direction.
Shitter.
But I mean, similar to Lori, I mean, I've traveled around in my truck camper setup. I don't love it. The only thing I wish was different was I can't shower inside, but I shower every goddamn day. So I need a shower that I can shower outside. So I just have like a chair I could sit in. And
This all checks out for Lenny. All of this checks out for Lenny. I 1,000% believe that Lenny could live in a Sprinter van the rest of his life.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I have zero doubt in Lenny.
But
Danny,
if you stay at the right campgrounds, they actually have
not
Give you a
always
full
an
hookup for
option.
$18. Lenny, have you heard about
Not
this?
always an option, Danny.
Yeah. Okay. So there
That's
you
how I
go.
feel about it.
There you go.
Danny would not be living van life, I guess.
No. Not
Becca
unless there's full
definitely
hookups
knows van
involved.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, guess what? Full hookups are not always an option.
Yeah.
Well, what I mean by full hookups is got water, sewer, and cable.
That's not always an option.
Yeah. There you go.
I think Beka Sue has a little camper PTSD.
Yes. If you had to suck out shit with a shop vac out of a toilet for a while, wearing a bandana
I
around
have
your face
nightmares
so you don't
about
have
that.
to smell it, yeah, you're going to get PTSD from that.
Oh,
Well, you stay at a campground that facilitates all that. Because
Not when you're living in it. Not
If
when
it
you're
could
living
only
in it.
be so easy.
number one thing is when you're in a camper, you don't open up
Danny,
your
when we lived
Blackwater
in a
tank.
campground, it was $1,500 to camp there.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, this was prime oil field time where you could not get a spot for cheaper than that in a campground that didn't even necessarily have hookups.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay. Yeah. It's not guaranteed. You have to work with the lot lizards for that. All right. It's time to drink.
lot lizards. We all need a drink after that.
Yeah.
I worked in the
Jeez.
trucking industry. The lot lizards is a thing. They talk about that. All right. It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Miss Beka Sue. What do you got?
I wasn't gonna go with the highest proof thing I had right now, but I'm going to. That it just checks out. I've got some Blue Run, some of our buddies over there, Blue Run, some single barrel cask strength. This is 130 proof, so let's see what this does.
Okay. Blue Run. Okay.
Ooh.
Just decent. All right. I've got Wilderness Trail here. This is a 6-year-old bottled in bond. Let's see what we got here. Not as good as Becca's. She still has the lead. Lori, you're next.
Yeah, I've got something from Tar, Manchester Reserve.
Oh, Lori, what the hell's going on?
I am on fire. You brought
Yes,
me
you
back
are.
just to have a streak.
I guess so. Wow. All right, Danny.
All right. I've got 291's M.
M. Okay. All right.
This
That came
is
from
at
Marianne.
126.9 proof.
Okay.
Nothing.
No, nothing there. All right. Last but not least is Lenny. Lori has the lead. What do you got, Lenny?
I got some Russell's Bourbon 10-year.
Okay. No, not enough. Lori, 3 in a row.
Once again,
The
Crown,
three-peat.
y'all.
Woo!
Triple crown.
Cheer.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about moonshine. I would say anybody would say moonshine's a problem, other than if you're one of the two big moonshine distillers, that life is pretty good for them. But I'd say the rest of people would say moonshine is a problem. We'll talk about that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, we are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
Hi, this is Rick Brenner, and you are listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Shouldn't it be the legend?
Maybe.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about the problems with moonshine.
Yes, we are. So the big thing is moonshine is not defined, and it allows you to really put just about anything into a bottle once you and to call it moonshine, because the TTB doesn't define exactly what that is. And you know, the biggest offenders of this are the two big brand names. There's two really big nationwide brand names. They have distillery experiences and all kinds of stuff, and they put themselves in touristy areas, and people love them, and they think that it's, you know, part of American heritage that that you see. And that's the stories that they're telling. But in reality, it's neutral grain spirits that is being mixed with, you know, flavorings. And so it truly is. You could put, if they said you can't even have moonshine on the label anymore, you could put vodka on that exact same label and it wouldn't change. That would still be within the TTB guidelines. Just call it flavored vodka, but it's now in a mason jar. So I like true moonshiners, you know, Royce. You know, he's dedicated to that, and he uses an old family recipe that has sugar in it. That's a big ingredient. That's a big tell. If someone says we're making moonshine, do you have sugar in it? I think that's important, because when they're making whiskey in the woods, they're not pitching yeast in there, so they're going to rely on some natural yeast that they get, but they're also going to rely on sugar for those conversions. Is what's typically going to happen. So I think that's a big part of it. Again, it's not defined, but I think the people who are really making true moonshine are going to have sugar in it, you know, at some point. Mm-hmm. So I think that that there needs to be some sort of definition, and I would hope that this category could be helped. Lenny, I'm going to throw it to you first, because we are seeing some legislation coming on the single malt side, and I think that will help that out very much, because single malts you know, have kind of struggled a little bit because it hasn't been defined for them. But now it's looking like they may get that. They've got some legislation that's out there now they're taking public feedback on it, and you know, I assume if they'll either tweak it or leave it as is based on that feedback, and we'll see if that gets put into place. So tell us a little bit about that, and then how moonshine might be benefited from similar action being taken.
Yeah, well, I've been waiting for 12 years for this to happen from the government. So I'm glad that it finally is. But here's the thing, like, American single malt gets to stand on the shoulders of Scotch single malt that's been made for frigging ever, that everyone knows what single malt is. It's a very understood category.
Right.
And while the US definitions there might stray a little from what Scotland does, it still already qualifies a lot of those things, or Scotland does rather, and we play off that. Now, here's a kind of a left field take on a problem with moonshine from my perspective.
Okay.
You know, when you talk about that, be it Kentucky or Virginia or you know, anywhere at Southeast, somewhere where there was truly a heritage for it, I tend to think that there's a little more respect to that heritage that's paid versus, and I'll use the example of Colorado. When I talk about, you know, at Deer Hammer, we primarily make American single malt. So when I'm giving a tour and I talk about, and I'll show and pour some of our whiskey, you know, distillate straight off the still, I get these goofy chuckles like, oh, that's moonshine. Oh.
Right.
What's with the chuckle? Like, what is that? First of all, no, it's not. Like, I don't know that anybody in this country was illicitly distilling
single malts,
malted barley. Yeah, that seems excessive. I mean, it's like 65 cents a pound. That's dumb. But beyond that, like, why the comicalness? And I wish that would go away. So is there a fix? I don't think so. Like, even if the TTB does it, I think we've got this weird cultural misalignment where I think those in the Southeast get it, whether there's enough respect paid to it or not. It is a true heritage in our country.
It is.
Jackasses that just don't understand what they're saying, and they think the word moonshine is a joke. And I think that's unfortunate because there is a heritage of like badass producers that might have been doing it, and be it in their shed or in the woods or hiding or whatever.
Yeah.
But they were making cool stuff. They had skills.
That's a very valid point. So many people do think that a white liquid coming off a still is always called moonshine, and it's not. If Royce is making his bourbon, it's not moonshine.
If it's moonshine coming off the still, then yeah.
Then it is moonshine.
But if it's not moonshine coming off the still, then it's not fucking moonshine, and we tell that to people all the fucking
that would be white dog.
Right.
Yeah. If you're making bourbon, the appropriate thing would be either white whiskey or white dog.
Yeah.
When you're making the bourbon. So but when he's making the moonshine, well then yes, coming off the still, it is moonshine. But yeah.
Right.
The biggest
moonshine
problem
is the all corn.
Right.
The biggest problem.
Sugar, I mean, it's illicitly product. That's really a qualifier. Because if I make a sugar shine, if it's 100% sugar and I pitch yeast in it, well, if I'm making it legally, that's wrong. But if I was doing it illicitly and I dumped a bag of sugar and some, bread yeast in, it's kind of moonshine because that's the reference to illicitly produced product. Now, I'm okay with the crossover to call a legally produced product a moonshine as well. But, like Danny, to your point, I don't know that I'm understanding you properly, but would that not be potentially a bourbon or a corn whiskey if it was made with corn,
Well,
Right.
But there are, like if you look at traditional recipes, like some that I even started on, like Uncle Jesse's Simple Sour Mash. That was some corn, that was some sugar, and it was some recycled yeast. That's a moonshine recipe.
Right.
The biggest problem right now with moonshine is the show.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
The worst
that shows a problem.
The problem is the show, and what the show has done is made it almost more of a joke, but then it becomes worse because these people who are big fans of the show go and buy some of these brands from the show,
Right.
and they taste
They
like
are neutral grain spirits.
absolute
They're
shit.
Yeah.
And so when they come to the distillery, and this happened just a few months ago, this super nice couple, like they were fantastic. They came into the distillery and they had stopped at one of these other distilleries on the drive up. They were from she lives in Georgia, I think. And they drove up and they stopped at one of those other distilleries and they got up here and they were excited because there's a distillery here. And I said, I've got ours, I've got a straight moonshine. And they said, no, we're okay. And I went to the next people down in the tasting and I heard, I think it was, she said to her boyfriend, she's like, we already had moonshine and that was horrible. And I stopped in my tracks and I went back and I said, so you don't like it because of where you had it at? And she said, yeah, it was not good. And I said, you know what? And I grabbed another cup and I put it out and I gave him an eighth of a shot. And I said, try this. Okay. I said, give this a shot and tell me what you think of it. And don't think about where you just had it at before. And they both tasted it and they looked at each other and they looked at me and they went, that's actually really good. And I'm like, I know. Because it was made, it's actually made like a moonshine would be made.
Right.
There's just sugar in it, and
It's got sugar.
That's
right.
Someone actually made it as a.
Royce told me that the day I met him. A real moonshine has to have sugar in it. I've always, thought of that.
If it's actually, and here's the other thing that I say to people is, when they scoff about the moonshine, oh, moonshine, and I go, listen, if the only time they go, oh, I've had moonshine before, I don't like it. And I go, if the only time you've had moonshine,
I don't like moonshine either. If I had to taste those brands,
because Uncle Jim Bob made it in his fucking garage after watching too many seasons of Moonshiners, so he thought he knew how to fucking hook up a still and just like literally fed you straight heads, and you're lucky you're alive. Then yeah, I get why you don't like fucking moonshine, because you didn't have moonshine. You had Uncle Jim Bob's fucking bullshit poison that he fed you out in the garage. So yeah, you're not gonna like moonshine. And I tell them this. I go, now if you actually get moonshine from guys who are real moonshiners, who know what they're doing, and they're making it the correct ways to make it actually taste good, because these guys put a lot of work and effort into making sure that theirs is good, because guess what? That's how they sell it. Is it being a delicious moonshine? That's how they sell it illegally. It's delicious. It's actually tastes good. You want to drink that over most vodkas, especially in America, because most vodkas in America have officially become shit. Not all of them are shit. I'm not going to say all of them are shit, but most vodka in America sucks.
Yeah.
That's just what's happened, because they're just buying GNS and they're not actually trying to make a good vodka. And I'm not saying everyone. This is not everyone.
It's vodka.
It's just that a lot
we
of
get
people
people
are not
asking
trying.
us about that. They'll see Pappy G, which is a real moonshine, and they'll be like, "Do you got the one like the banana split one?" We're like, "We don't carry that stuff. That's not moonshine."
Like, you need to actually try a real moonshine, and do not base it off of one of those other places that we're talking about. That is not actual moonshine. And we have to educate people all the time in the distillery about this. And a lot of them taste it and they go, oh, that's delicious. I know.
Yeah.
But like, if we
I'm
wave
aware.
a wand and fix it, maybe
Is it going to fix it? No.
Well, but I don't think we can. But if I could wave a wand and fix it, I think the fix would be to change the perception and have it so that maybe that same person that came in, the connotation of a product labeled as moonshine would be get the question of, oh, tell me about who made it. Like, what's their history? Like, how did they come to that? And whether it was that's their family heritage, or whether it was, hey, they really like put some time into finding like a traditional recipe, and this is just more respect for the category, I guess.
I'd like to pitch an idea and see if you guys like this. Again, well, first of all, I want to say that the show Moonshiners, a lot of people accuse Danny of being tickle on that show, so that's a thing. But that has nothing to do with
the Bourbon Daily.
That's what I'm not. Yeah, that's what I'm not. What if the TTB said, yeah, this moonshine is a problem, and people are putting everything in there. What if the term legal moonshine was used? Moonshine was left as it is. You can put that on your neutral grain spirits and all that, because you got brands that have built themselves on that. But if you use the two terms together, legal moonshine, that allows people like Neely Family Distillery to identify themselves as a true moonshine that is now being made legally. I think that would be a big deal. If and again, the ones that are neutral grain spirits would be like, oh, we'll do that. No, you can't do that because you don't have sugar. You need to have sugar. You can't be just neutral grain spirits. You define some of these things that actual moonshine is, and then you call it legal moonshine.
Steve, no one would give a shit.
It would be an education.
That would be. I don't think that'd be something that, other than people like you, Danny Kennard, some other people that actually follow real moonshine. But the majority of people are still going to go to those distilleries, and they're still going to think that that's what moonshine is. And
I agree. The masses
in front of it, the masses will not be fixed by this.
I don't care about the masses. I care about the true fans, the people that would buy
exactly
things. Yeah. I agree.
Spirits people.
Yeah. What's that? What's that?
The TTB cares about the masses. Like, to go back to my previous point, I think American Single Malt is going to work because, again, it can stand on the shoulders of a massive category. If there was international moonshine categories in all these other countries, and we were like, come on, U.S. government, get with it. Like, why don't we have one? They're sure as shit not going to qualify legal moonshine, because, to Beka's point, no, 99.9% of the people do not care and will not.
In fact, they would rather, most of the people that come in specifically looking for moonshine want it to be the most illegal that they can get.
They want.
If it said legal on it, they wouldn't even want it. The people who are actually walking in looking for straight moonshine, they want something that's 160 proof, and it will kill them.
Yeah.
And out here, people want to giggle about it, which I hate. But
right. I agree.
And it just sucks that it's a joke to so many people.
Yeah.
When they hear it, and they think about those other distilleries, and they're just like, oh, I had it there, and I literally died after I had it. I was so sick. Yeah. I would imagine you probably were.
Because they made shit.
Yeah.
Right.
I would love
I don't
for
think they'll fix it. Yeah. Go ahead,
No.
Lori.
I was just going to say, I would love for there to be like a heritage seal or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know who would do that, but like it actually tracks that piece, like to Lenny's point. Where does it come from? Where's the story? Where's the lineage of the development of this spirit? And
Yeah.
I feel like people who really care about it, and maybe the masses, could actually be turned a little bit if you had some kind of a heritage seal
Yeah.
that people could get
That'd
on
be
board
fine.
with
If they
track
could
the
do that,
story.
yeah. Yeah, because the other ones are telling the story. It's just not true. I mean, their great grandfather wasn't taking neutral grain spirits and adding flavorings that they're buying from some lab somewhere. That just didn't happen. That absolutely did not happen that way. If their great grandfather was making moonshine, it was stuff out in the woods and it was made what we're talking about.
Yeah,
So
great grandfather did not have red dye number 7 or anything.
right,
like
exactly.
that.
A verified
Not a thing.
a verified heritage would be cool, but yeah. I don't think anything will happen. I mean, I don't know that there's just public demand enough. I think that the demand from single malt makers combined with probably other distilleries, especially because you can use used casks in the new legislation. I think that's going to be big because the cost of casks jumping from $175 to $350 or whatever it is these days. It's all over the place. Plus the difficulty in even buying barrels if you can. The distillers are looking for other things to do with those barrels, and single malt makes sense. I think a lot more distilleries are going to be on board with a defined single malt moving forward when they can do something with those used casks that's a little bit different than corn whiskey or some of the other things they've been doing with them at their distillery, not just selling them off. But so there you go. There's a little bit on moonshine. Hopefully one day it gets fixed. We're not real hopeful, but we'll see. All right. We'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Lori, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Y'all can find me on Instagram or Facebook at Spirited Curves.
All right, Lenny.
You can find me and the rest of Deerhammer on social media at Deerhammer, on the web at deerhammer.com, where you can also order our tea shipped to your door. Come visit us in beautiful Buena Vista, Colorado, where I'll turn out the single malt moonshine on the daily.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Yeah.
Danny, how about you?
You can find me at Denny Kennard on Facebook.
All right. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Miss Beka Sue, where can people find you?
You can find me pouring the finest samples of moonshine down at Neely Family Distillery. You can also find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
All right. You already heard a little preview from me. That's a new format that we're going to try. A preview, and then I ask Beka, and then we go back to mine. I have a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That's abvnetwork.com. Check that one out because everything that we do is out there. abvnetwork.com and ABV Barrel Shop. Please come by and see us, or at a minimum, sign up for our emails or texts at abvbarrelshop.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right. Great job today, gang. Finance, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Later.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com Call them at 217-254-6613 or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with the national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.